what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be playing with another Bad Habit palette. I have for you the Aphrodite palette. The reason why I want to sit down and play with this one is because, as you all know, or if you don't know, Huda Beauty recently released that they are going to be re-releasing their Rose Gold eyeshadow palette in a remastered formula. Now, I haven't tried any of the Huda Beauty eyeshadows, so yeah, nonetheless, I am kind of intrigued. You guys know that I loved the Bad Habit ATHENA palette. I will link that video down below if you haven't checked that video out yet, but I was floored by the shades that I tried out of that palette. I do want to play with it a little bit more, but this is supposed to be a direct dupe to the Rose Gold palette. Now, the reason why I want to play with this right now is because, again, that Rose Gold remastered palette is going to be hitting the market. I don't know if it's out yet or not, but if this palette is any good, this is only $16. Huda Beauty palettes, or Huda Beauty palettes, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say her name, you guys know this, run, I think, for about $65. Now, granted, I haven't tried her palettes. If this palette is good, there really is no reason to go out and spend $65 on an eyeshadow palette. If you ask me, if you're a fan and you love that one and you just want to try out that remastered formula, go for it. But my goal is always to try to introduce you to products that can save you a little bit of money. Let's just go ahead and jump into this. I'm going to zoom you guys in, and then let's go ahead and apply some shadow to these eyes because, oh my God, do they need it so much. All right, so now that I have you guys zoomed in, I have all my eyeshadow brushes in front of me. I have primed my lids with some concealer and then basically laid down some translucent powder so that we don't have any creasing. I do have a random zit right here on like my eye. I don't know how that happens, but it did, and it really hurts. So let's see, I'm going to start off with my Morphe M433. Let's just go ahead and just get something on the lids. I'm going to start out with the shade Koi. Now, dipping into this, we do get a little bit of kickback, as you guys can see there, but it really isn't that bad. I've definitely seen worse. So I'm just going to work that all over the lid as kind of a transition shade. As I've said before, I like to kind of lay down shades that are kind of close to my skin tone, just so the other shadows have something to blend into. It's kind of like a little bit more of like an extra base. I just sweep that all over the lid, and then I'll go in with my transition shades. So sticking with the same brush, we have to kind of decide what kind of look we're going for here. I think I want to play with the pinky rose gold shades. So I'm just gonna jump into it. I'm gonna go into the shade Blushing. Yeah, you guys, the kickback on this really isn't that bad at all. I'm kind of shocked. And then I'm just going to go ahead and keep that tight, but work it into the crease and see what kind of color payoff we have. All right, so far that is blending pretty effortlessly. All right, as you guys can see, that's pretty smooth. There isn't any patchiness. I haven't had any trouble blending this shade. Koi seems to be good as well. I'm gonna go ahead and dip back into Blushing with the same brush just to get a little bit more color build up there. Sticking into the crease in the window washer motions. So that color builds up quite nicely. Now keep tabs on this video, you guys, because I'm going to actually put something either in the comments, I'll pin a comment, or put something in the description box down below as to how well these shadows lasted. Did they stay on the lid? Did the color stay true? Did it fade or anything like that? I'll give you guys an update, but right now this is kind of a first impressions. But as you can see, you guys know this is why I like to try palettes for you in real time, so you can actually see them being blended, see if there's any patchiness for yourself. As you can see, there is not. So let's go ahead and actually really bring the pop of color. Let's go into the shade Flirt. I'm really gonna brighten this up. As you can see, no more real fallout, or I should say kick up, than any other palette. It's really not that big of a deal. I could create an entire look with this brush, you guys. So I'm gonna really keep that into the crease pretty tight. I'm really into like pinky purple eyeshadows right now. I just love it. All right, there you go. So we have a pretty good looking base going down. So let's just go ahead and start to mold this look. Just to go over, so far we have tried Flirt, Blushing, and Koi, and so far I am having no issues with these shades. I'm going to take this Aveda shadow brush because I haven't used this in so long, but this is perfect for creating like a halo. That's kind of what I want to do. I'm going to go into the shade here, Lust. So that one is a little bit more powdery, as you can see, but really it's not that bad. It could be worse. So I'm just gonna focus that on like the outer V. So that one laid down nice as well. Let me just get a close-up look in my mirror here. Yep, and I'm not seeing any fallout on the under the eyes as well. Now you guys know that, or you might not know, I always say that you guys know as if every single one of you stalks and follows every single video I've ever posted, that I was not a huge fan at all of the Retro Love palette. I talked about that in my Shop Hush haul. I did not like that palette at all. It was choppy. The colors were so weird. It like pilled up on my eyes. I was not a fan of that palette whatsoever. I also tried Royals, which was, that was an okay palette. It wasn't my favorite. You really had to build up the color. So far out of the palettes I've tried, this one, oh yeah, and we're taking Lust. I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. This one's got a lot of kick up to it, I'm not gonna lie. It's quite powdery compared to the other shades. I'm putting that on the inner corner as well. But as far as pigmentation goes, so far this one and ATHENA seem to have the best pigmentation out of the others that I've tried. I don't know if it is a difference in those thinner palettes, like the longer ones versus the ones that are like this. I don't know if there's just a difference in that formula or what, but which there very well might be. I don't know. I'm just gonna work that a little bit into the crease. But yeah, you guys, I'm not having, like, there is no fallout whatsoever on my eyes. All right, let's go ahead and get something in the center of the lid. I'm gonna use, this is actually a lip brush, but I love it for packing on color. I think I'm gonna go ahead and dip into the shade Crush right here. So we'll try it dry first, and then if we need to, we will spray some Fix Plus. I'm just gonna dab that on the lid right here. So that's actually pretty pigmented for going in dry. I'm not going to lie, but I do want to kick it up a notch. It is a gorgeous color, and I do want to go ahead and use some Fix Plus. So I never spray my brush and then dip into a palette because that will, to me, ruin your shadows. I always like to pick up the pigment first, spray it, and then pat it on the lids. So that did make for a much more intense look. So I'm bringing that in just above the crease here and just blending it, kind of patting that in and blending it to the darker shades. So there we go. That is stunning. I am loving this look so far. So far, you guys, besides Lust being just a little bit powdery, it isn't enough to say that the palette isn't good or that I don't like the shades, because so far I am actually very impressed. This is performing like a high-end eyeshadow palette, in my opinion. I haven't done a halo eye in so long. I'm just gonna dip into a little bit more. It's kind of odd. I feel like this shadow builds up like in such a unique way. This shade Crush right here that I'm using, it's like if you go into it like wet, dry, and you like keep layering it like that, you get like such a gorgeous like metallic effect. It's really cool. All right, so I'm gonna go back in with my Aveda brush. I'm actually gonna dip just a little bit more into Lust one more time, just to make sure that that stays pigmented in the outer corners and in the inner corner, and make sure this all blends in beautifully. So there is that. This is looking stunning so far. Let's go ahead and get something on the lower lash line. Where is my brush? I thought I had all my brushes in front of me, you guys, that I like to use, but I guess I didn't, but here it is. Clean it off on my color switch quick. I'm so lazy when it comes to cleaning my brushes. You guys, don't do that. Clean your brushes. What shade should we do on the lower lash line? So far we have used Flirt, Lust, Blushing, Coy, and Crush. Let's do, I think I want to keep it bright. Let's take Flirt on the lower lash line. Really like that. Kind of bright pink. This is the Golden Triangle from Delium Tools. This is a 773 shading blender brush. Let's just go ahead and drag that on the lower lash line. Oh, yes, that is beautiful. One thing I used to be afraid of, you guys, was really smoking out my eye looks and like getting shadow like down here. But don't be afraid of that, because the more I do it, I'm loving that look. I feel like it just makes whoosh. It's like a wash of color all over the eyes, and it's really stunning. The concealer I used today creases like a mother. I love this concealer because I like the natural coverage, but it creases really bad. It's the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea concealer. It's such a nice concealer if you have dry under eyes, but oh my God, let me tell you, it creases really bad. All right, so let's go ahead and get like a detailed pencil brush. And then let's go ahead and put tease right here. Let's try it dry. I don't really like to use shadows dry, but why not? See how it works. Really no fallout from that or kick up in the pan. Just kind of work that in the inner corner. Because I'm actually kind of shocked at how well these metallics are performing using them dry, because typically, like I said, it just doesn't really work up to its full potential. Let's go ahead and use some Fix Plus and see if that kicks it up a notch. Yes, stunning. Let's take that same shade and we'll just run it along the brow bone here. A really pretty like champagne-y gold shade. All right, and then you guys know my favorite last step is to take a clean, fluffy crease blending brush. I'm gonna dip just a little bit back into Koi here, just a little bit. Tap off the excess and just gently run that along the outer edges of my shadow, just to make sure everything is blended. So I think it looks beautifully blended. I'm gonna go ahead and curl my lashes, pop on some mascara. I think I'm gonna leave my waterline open because I don't wanna close off my eyes too much, because I feel like we have like this beautiful pinky shadow going, and I'll be right back. All right, you guys, so here is the finished look. This is absolutely gorgeous. This is totally rose gold. I love the pinkiness. I love the gold flip that accompanies this shade here, the shade Crush. This is just absolutely stunning. This is probably one of my favorite halo eyes that I have really ever created on my channel. Though I think I've only done like one other one, but nonetheless, this shadow palette out of the colors that I've tried so far, you guys, is absolutely stunning. You can see for yourself the pigmentation. I have no fallout under my eyes. The shade right here, Lust, is a little bit powdery, but it is super pigmented. You do not need a lot on your brush at all. You guys can see from the demo that I did for you that the colors are true to what is in the pan. They go on beautifully. The metallics are just so good. The mattes so far that I have tried blend out like a dream. This is truly a beautiful palette for I think $14 or $16. I can never remember, and I know I said it at the beginning of this video. I will be sure to link it down below or somewhere, let you guys know the exact price, and a link in the description where you can get the palette. But this is absolutely stunning. If you guys want to see more looks from me using this palette, let me know in the comments down below. Have you been thinking about purchasing this palette and now seeing it on my eyes? Is it one that you really want to try? Let me know if there is any other looks you want to see more of the brown shades, maybe using this black. Let me know if there's other looks using the Athena palette. I love doing these little reviews, mini tutorials for you guys. I want to thank you so much for tuning in as always, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!